Hey guys, what's up? So in this one, we're going to be covering the second half SOS boss for P5X Global version 2.4, and Fox is back once again, and I'm a little bit surprised he's back, to be honest. I know he's on rerun right now, so it would make sense, but with Cherish coming next week, I thought they might kind of hold him off for that, because Cherish, synergizes really well with Fox, and I imagine we'll have a bunch of Fox bosses in Guild and SOS again next week, so be prepared for that, I would think. But we are going to be running a Fox team, so Fox 1, Yuki 2, Wonder 3, Leon 4 with Phoebe as Navigator, and then Wonder is running all in with Dionysus, Mithras, and Cert. You don't have to run Cert, you can use Norn or something. I was just trying something a little bit different with Cert, but I don't know if it's like totally optimal, to be honest, but you can mix and match with that third slot and on that last turn. We'll get into it a little bit more kind of in the fight probably. But yeah, Fox seems a little bit weird, so you definitely don't want Fox going last. You don't have to have him going first. I think as early as possible is optimal for Fox, but it doesn't have to be first. As long as he's not last, it still gives you the opportunity to provide the buffs after his action. Say Fox is going last and you buff him with like Wind's skill 3 and it's a one-turn buff, and then Fox uses Keen Eye, right? He doesn't actually do any damage on that turn, and then Wind's buff is gone. So you really would like him to go as early as possible so that you can use those kinds of buffs following his turn so that he's not losing a buff for nothing. And then slot-ins are a little bit weird on this one because I'd say if you don't have Fox, SOS Score Mult is based on element damage, so like you want an ice unit. So the only other ice unit to use really here is Mont. So if you have Mont built, I'd say you can give her a shot if you don't have Fox. Otherwise, the other like element options that I would suggest, the boss resists, right? So On and like Summer Closer are kind of out. Queen, I guess, would be your best brute force option, as she kind of always is. Again, without the ice element score, it's probably going to be tough sledding. In terms of Yuki, Yuki's kind of uniquely the best option for Fox in the game at the moment. But if you don't have her built, you could probably try and go with like a debuff focused strategy more so, and use Soy, or you could use Vino. Similarly, Leon's ability to provide shields every turn is really good because Fox wants shield instances on him up to 6 stacks, and he gets like a damage buff for each stack. But Rin is quite good too. Rin could also slot into the above with Yuki, like if you have Leon and Rin but you don't have Yuki, maybe that could work as well. I think that's not a bad idea. But Rin is more than serviceable here if Leon is unavailable to you. And then obviously I'm using Phoebe. If you haven't used Futaba on the other side, then use Futaba here, obviously. But assuming that you did use Futaba on the other side, I would say Puppet is probably the easier second option to use here. If you have any questions that I didn't answer here, then, let me know and I'll do my best to answer whatever you got for me in the comments. In terms of personas, Dionysus is kind of the standard. I did add Auto Maruku to him just to provide a little bit of extra like defense because I will be on Dionysus for the first 2 turns, but totally not necessary. And then as for Mythos, we'll be using Rakukaja. It's a great single target defense buff. Plus, he gives like an additional defense buff when he uses skill on an ally. And like I said, I'm going to be bringing Cert. I'll use Marakunda on the last turn, but it's more for his highlight to provide this 19% damage taken up for 2 turns, which will only affect the last round of Fox's follow-ups, which are RNG anyway for me in this fight. So I don't know if this is optimal. Honestly, like it's possible that just using Rakukaja on Mythos again to rebuff Fox and use whatever highlight, is available at the time. In terms of card sets, Fox is running Meditation and Opulence. Yuki is running Trust and Prosperity. Leon is also running Trust and Prosperity. I know you don't want to double dip on these, but there's no other card set that Leon like really benefits from. At least none that I like could think of. But Leon's really only here to provide the shield instance. It really doesn't matter what he's doing otherwise. And then my Phoebe's running Integrity and Labor. But yeah, otherwise, I don't really have anything else to go over. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer whatever I can for you. Otherwise, I will see you when we get into the fight. All right, so we are going to start off with Keen Eye on Fox. And then Yuki will use Sacred Blow on Fox. Wonder, Rebellion on Fox. And Leon is just going to spam skill 2 on Fox the entire time for these, whatever his passive effect. I'll show you in a second when these guys are done attacking. But for now, we'll sit and watch the RNG Fiesta and hope Fox decides he wants to follow up. 1. 2 would be good. I think I'd be happy with 2. And of course, he does not do 2. And it is Painter's Focus right here. This is the thing he gets. Whenever he gets a shield, he gets a stack of Painter's Focus. Goes up to 6 stacks for 2 turns and increases damage by 7.5%. So Yuki and Leon providing shields every turn should get him at max stack. Then we're going to hold off on Phoebe for 1 turn because we want Phoebe to start buffing Fox after his turn, like everyone else here. It doesn't matter as much on this first turn, but for the skill 3, when we start using that, that'll be very important that we wait till after his turn. And then we will go ahead and use Wondrous Highlight. Yuki, Absolute Judgment on the guy to the far right. He's the only one who's not resistant to Bless. And then Dionysus will use Revolution on Fox. Leon again, just pump Justice Barrier on Fox the entire fight. Let's see here. Hopefully Fox decides 2 for 2 so far. That's pretty good. And it's also nice here because Yuki is weak to nuke. And this guy will use an AoE nuke skill, which knocks her down, which actually gets you an additional chance to follow up. Did he just follow up on all 5? My lucky day, I guess. Okay. Fox will go back to Kenai now. And now Phoebe can go ahead. She's got 2 premium cocktails, so we'll go ahead and use her skill 3 on Fox. And now it's great because he'll have this for, like, all his follow-ups this turn, all his follow-ups next turn, plus his action next turn, and then all those follow-ups, and then he'll lose it kind of for the third. But by then, Phoebe will probably have her 2 cocktails again, so we can just kind of reapply it. So you kind of have, like, a really good uptime on this. Then you can go ahead and use Sacred Glow on Fox. Now we will swap to Mithras and use Rakukaja on Fox. And now Fox is going to go ahead and use his highlights. And then Leon will go ahead and use Justice Barrier. And now these should all be guaranteed. Well, this is always guaranteed, but everything else should be guaranteed too, which is nice. And then Fox will go back to Bone Chill and Cold. Fox is just basically rotating these 2 the entire fight. This is actually like a pretty easy rotation outside of like the annoyance of the RNG. Yuki will go ahead and use her skill 3 on this guy. And then a Wonder can kind of start the Dionysus rotation again. Rebellion on Fox. Leon again just spamming skill 2 on Fox. Then we let Fox get to work here for a little bit. The only thing that can really screw up the fight at this point is if Fox gets crit by one of these attacks from these guys, which would be disastrous. I guess if it's like the last one, it's not the end of the world, but like if the first guy crits him and he loses like a full turn of follow-ups, you almost are just like better off restarting at that point, unfortunately. Which is really annoying because like there's already enough RNG with him like following up or not following up, so to have an additional layer of that is really annoying. But now Phoebe's back up. She has her 2 cocktails again, so we will just go ahead and reapply this to Fox now that it's past his turn. And then we will go ahead and actually just use Yuki's highlight on the guy to the right. Give Fox a nice defense buff. And then we'll go back to Sacred Glow on Fox. And then Wonder, Revolution again on Fox. And Leon, you guessed it, skill 2 on Fox. This will be our last Kenai of the fight, unfortunately, but I want to try and break 11 million on this, so hopefully we get lucky on this last turn with Fox and he decides to follow up. But we'll go ahead and use Bone Chill and Cold here. And then Yuki can go ahead and use Absolute Judgment on the guy on the far right. And then Wonder will swap to... We are going to swap to Cert and use Marakunda because I'm going to get a highlight back. Again, if you want to just use Rakukaja on Fox again with Mithras, if you want to bring Norn and use that instead, go ahead. I'm doing this because I'm going to get a highlight back and I want Cert to highlight, which will do a little bit of extra damage. So this is kind of what I went with. I guess there's a case we made you could just stay on Dionysus and use that instead too, but because I think you'd have Dionysus highlight available again by now. But we'll go ahead and use Fox here. Or, sorry, Leon's skill 2 on Fox here. And now we, fingers crossed, we need like 2 follow-ups here, basically. So there's one. I just need another one. There we go. Okay, we broke the 11. So I'm pretty happy with this now. There was one where Fox was at 10-9, and he just didn't follow up a single time on this last turn, and I was so salty about it. But 11-5 is my record, I believe, for this 11-6. I'm pretty happy with this. Again, I don't really have a good feel. I wish they showed you the SOS scores on both sides on the ranking thing. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you guys got something useful out of this one. We're kind of now in holding pattern until the guild bosses, so I got a couple of video ideas I'm trying to cook up here. But if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer whatever I can for you. Otherwise, I appreciate your support as always. I will see you guys on the next one, and have a good one.